So if you notice from my E3 videos, one of the things I'm most excited for is Breath of the Wild. Obviously, it's not going to be named Breath of the Wild 2 or whatever. They're going to have a separate subtitle. But it's the sequel. They're giving it the Majora's Mask treatment, even making it darker than what came before it. So I decided to make my own predictions using not only what I want in the game, but also trends that Nintendo has followed. And by those trends, I mean Nintendo listens to fans. The game that comes out after a Zelda game is always in direct response to the fans. Twilight Princess is dark and gritty because people didn't like the art style and the lightness of Wind Waker. Breath of the Wild is the most open game ever because of how linear Skyward Sword was. Even when Zelda 2 came out, and people were like, this isn't like the first game. Well, Link to the Past is now like the first game, but on steroids. So there's a trend going on here. So prediction number 1 for the sequel of Breath of the Wild, the world is going to be filled with more stuff. It's going to be utilizing the same world, but there's going to be more to do in it. And how they're going to achieve this story-wise is that the trailer we saw is going to be from a cutscene and maybe some gameplay that we haven't seen yet, obviously. That cutscene is going to be the first cutscene in the game, or one of the first in the game. When Ganondorf, because that is 100% Ganondorf, all the signs point to that being Ganondorf, where the Gerudo symbol is on his body, the long red hair, the Gerudo symbols and the green swirly thingies. So when the actual body of Ganondorf is resurrected and the castle does its thing, that's what's going to send out more crap into the world. It being via malice or whatever is in that cave or whatever. More crap is going to go into the world that way. Or that will also cause there to be a Dark World variant. Like how Lorule is to Hyrule, or the Dark World in Link to the Past is to Hyrule. Or the Twilight Realm is to normal Hyrule in Twilight Princess. Or the future is to the past in Ocarina of Time. It's not a foreign idea to them. So I'm pretty sure they might do something like that. So either they're going to send out crap into the world, or there's going to be a Dark World variant of this Hyrule. 2, they're going to add some sort of cave system. I think the reason why the first cutscene is the way it is, and that's the cutscene they decided to show us, is because they want us to know that there are going to be segments that are not just in the overworld and not just a shrine system. We're going to be able to delve into caves and find some good items and weapons and find new stuff. Now, alongside that, we're going to get actual dungeons. People complained a lot that, yeah, the shrines are cool, but their theme, it's the same theme, and the theme itself gets repetitive. And the Divine Beasts, while cool in design, is not really a dungeon people were looking for. It was kind of a disappointing part of Breath of the Wild. Which, in the grand scheme of things, even though it's the main part of the story, is also the least, percentagely, it's the least that happens in the game, if you catch my drift. But they're going to actually add real dungeons and actual dungeon crawling with puzzles and different themes with each one with this game. So it's going to be a little bit closer to traditional Zelda than what Breath of the Wild was. They're going to keep it open world, but they're going to linearize it a little bit, just like how other overworld or how other sandbox games do it. How they're going to pull off trying to make an open air game with a linear dungeon system, I'm not sure. But I feel like that at least they're going to go at least somewhat that direction. We're going to have real dungeons this time. My next prediction being an actual weapon system outside of picking up weapons and having them break 30 seconds later. Durability is the thing that made the most people mad. They want to have those good weapons, and they want to keep them for as long as possible. When you get a good weapon and it just breaks, then you're like, well, this was a waste of time. That's why, like, if you get Link's house, doing that long side quest to get your house and then to rebuild the village and stuff. I don't remember if they're connected, but when you do the quest to get your house, I personally just kept like very, very cool stuff in the displays. But my prediction is they're gonna have weapons that last, and they're gonna have some sort of blacksmithing mechanic, where either you're gonna repair weapons, you can make weapons with the ore you find, because the ore is almost basically useless in the game, and maybe it's gonna be more like an RPG where you do still have the multiple different weapon types, but you just keep on getting more powerful weapons. And maybe how enemies are going to be made, some enemies are going to be susceptible to one weapon type than another weapon type. So fighting one enemy with a one-handed sword would be more effective than fighting this guy with a one-handed sword. This guy might need a two-handed weapon or a spear, where this guy makes more sense to use a one-handed weapon. Where initially in Breath of the Wild, it was just whatever you have is what you use, basically. The only thing maybe like distance with the spear, but it's very small things. That one's just kind of a hope, but my actual prediction is they're going to have a better weapon system, and there might be either completely doing the durability system where it makes more sense and you don't waste weapons as often, or they're going to outright ditch it for something better. And I already talked about my prediction of that being a revived Ganondorf. Is he going to stay in his corpse form? I don't, maybe? Like, he might be kind of like the Sheikah monks that we run into, but like extremely evil. Or he might, since he's gaining his power back, then he's going to gain flesh and be more fulled out. And we're gonna get a Breath of the Wild straight up Ganondorf. Another prediction is that green stuff that Link is playing with in the trailer. He's like, blah, and he's like holding it. You see it for like 2 frames. I think that's gonna be part of the main mechanic of the game and how Link uses his powers. I don't know if he's gonna keep the Sheikah Slate. They might just do away with that or use it for something else. But his main mechanic is going to be something that's related to that green stuff. He's going to have that power within him, and he's going to use it somehow. And that's as close as I don't know how it's going to be used, but Nintendo's going to make that into the main mechanic. It's not just going to be a thing that's inside him or a thing that just happens in that one cutscene. It's going to be part of the mechanic. That's going to give him something. And maybe we might be able to play as Zelda. Or at least have her as a companion, as like Wolf Link is to Link, if you use the amiibo in Breath of the Wild. But without an amiibo, with just base game, she's going to be either a companion, or she might actually have playable segments. Because they're showing that she's adventurous, she's adventuring out, or maybe, crazy fucking twist, the first part of the game starts out with Zelda. Link sacrifices himself to protect her, and that's how he gets the green stuff. She saves him, and now he comes back with the green stuff, and that's how that mechanic gets introduced, with switching between the two. Think about that one. And that's mainly it. That's all my quick predictions from what we saw only from the trailer. We only got a minute and 20 seconds of something, so there's still a lot to discover, and probably not going to come. I'm saying right now it's going to be summer of next year. If not, it's going to be between July and December of next year. There you go. So if you like this episode, thumbs up. If you want to see more from us, subscribe. And until next time, bye.